I want to start this off by saying that I don't support street racing at all, but I do love a good drag strip. I also love watching cars get put down the road in a controlled environment where there are no innocent people walking around that could get hurt. It's just a bunch of adults playing and having fun in a safe environment. So today, we're gonna have some fun. There are a lot of different types of vehicles that can go fast, like Lamborghinis and McLarens and Bugattis, but sometimes it's the most unexpected cars that can surprise you. And this is one of those cases. Here we have a bone stock 2017 Honda Civic C against a highly modified turbocharged Subaru. The Honda is completely stock, with the only exception being a cold air intake, and the driver has slicks on the rear tires. Now, the Subaru isn't completely crazy. It does still have an automatic transmission, but there is a built motor in here with a Garrett GTX3 584 R. So yeah, it's not gonna be a fair race. But honestly, who cares? Let's see what happens here. Now, these drivers have done this run multiple times and they've gone slower just to keep things interesting. They don't want to blow this thing up, so they're taking it easy. That's why the Civic is able to keep up with it. But now they're going to turn things up, and let's see what happens here. The Civic actually got a really good start here, and it was able to jump out to an early lead over the Subby. However, once the Subaru gets going, it's hard to stop. As you can see, the power just builds and builds and builds, and before long, the Subaru has taken control of the race and pulled ahead by a little bit. Now, the Civic is actually staying right with it, though. So this is pretty impressive for a stock car. But as they approach the finish line, the Subaru pulls ahead by a length and takes the win. Now the second race is next. And again, this Civic really needs a mulligan here, because the guy in the other lane is driving a freaking 1970 Chevelle. This thing has no business being fast. And if you watch this thing launch, it looks ridiculous. And unfortunately, the Civic gets left in the dust. Now they do this one more time and again. The Civic doesn't stand a chance. This thing is just too slow. I mean, I guess it's kind of cool seeing a classic muscle car launch like this. It's kinda neat. But I mean, I'm sorry, the Civic just doesn't stand a chance here. The Chevelle walks all over it. Next up is a BMW M3 E93. Now this one is going to be a little bit closer. Both of these cars are rear-wheel drive, and they both have similar horsepower ratings. So realistically, this thing could take the win or the loss. And it's going to depend on a few factors like driver skill, reaction time, and traction. Now, the BMW gets the early advantage here because it S in the left lane, and it S is able to get a better reaction time. This allows it to jump out to an early lead as they move through the first 60 feet. However, the Mustang has a little bit more horsepower, which allows it to slowly start chipping away at the lead. We're almost at the finish line, and the BMW is still holding on to a slight advantage, but the Mustang has momentum on its side. It is gaining on it quickly, and dives across the finish line first, and takes the win by a nose. This is such a close race, though. It could have gone either way. Next up, we have a Nissan Skyline R34. Now this thing has about 400 horsepower, and the GTR is packing a twin turbo. V6, that makes about 545 horsepower. So yeah, the GTR has a huge advantage here. I mean, just look at how far ahead it gets. And this thing just pulls away until it hits the rev limiter, and then it just cruises the rest of the way. The Skyline doesn't even try to keep up after a while. And I think this would have been a good opportunity for them to switch lanes, because this is just embarrassing for the Skyline. I mean, don't get me wrong, the Skyline is awesome. It sounds great and it looks amazing. But when you bring a Skyline to a drag strip, it's gonna get embarrassed every single time. Just like this one did here. Here's another race against the GTR. And again, the Supra just takes it easy and cruises to a win. Now this Mustang is making about 620 horsepower. So this one should be closer. And it was actually very close. The Mustang had a quicker reaction time, which allowed it to jump out to an early lead, but the GTR keeps it close and then takes the lead back. They're neck and neck at the finish line, and the GTR barely takes the win here. That was a photo finish. The Camaro is making about 580 horsepower. So it has a little bit less than the Mustang, and that's evident here because the Camaro easily gets left in the dust. Now, the Camaro driver was actually driving a manual transmission, so maybe if he had an automatic, it would have been closer. But I don't know. This thing was just too slow. The Camaro literally can't even keep up with the GT500 here. I mean, the GT500 is a beast. It has more power than it knows what to do with, and the Camaro just can't hang. This next race is between a Lamborghini Huracan and a Porsche 911 Turbo. And this is probably the closest race we'll see in this video. I mean, you can see these cars are extremely evenly matched. Neither one of these cars have traction. They're just spinning their tires and trying to get going, and it really shows you what these cars are capable of. Now, the Porsche gets the early advantage here because of a better reaction time, and it's able to hold on to that advantage all the way to the finish line. The Porsche wins by about a half a length, and this is probably the closest race we'll see in this video. Now, they do this one more time, and again, the Porsche takes the win. But this time, it's much closer. I mean, it's literally a photo finish. You can't tell who won unless you look at the ending time slip. Next up, we have a Ferrari 456 versus a Dodge Viper, and the Ferrari takes the win, which is kind of surprising to me. Now, the Ferrari has a little bit more horsepower, but the Viper is a much lighter vehicle. So I was expecting the Viper to take the win here, but the Ferrari surprised me. I didn't think it was going to be faster than the Viper. Now they do this one more time. And again, the Ferrari takes the win. And honestly, I think this is going to be a trend that we see here. Most European cars are going to take the win against American counterparts. I think that's just because they're lighter. If you have a 400 horsepower European car and a 400 horsepower American car, the European car will always win. It's just lighter. Next up, we have a 2021 Ram 1500 versus a Ford F250. Now, this is a pretty common race that we see at the track, and it's usually close. Now, these trucks are pretty evenly matched. The Ford has a little bit more torque, but the Ram has a little bit more horsepower. So realistically, it could go either way. And it really comes down to driver skill and reaction time. Now, the Ford gets the early advantage here because it has a quicker reaction time and it jumps out to an early lead. And even though the Ram catches it, the Ford is able to hold on for the win. Now they do this one more time, and again, the Ford takes the win. This is another case where a four-wheel drive vehicle is faster than a rear-wheel drive vehicle. If the Ram were four-wheel drive, I think it would have an easier time putting all of that power to the ground. But this is just a rear-wheel drive truck, and it spins the tires a lot, and it gets bogged down. Well, that wraps up today's video. Hopefully, you guys enjoyed it. If you did, please leave a big thumbs up. Also, make sure to stay tuned for more. I'll see you guys in the next one. Have a great day!